We'll start off introducing ourselves, kind of explain what we're going to talk about, and then we'll hit the ground running. My name is Tyrone Schmidt. I am a 6th grade computer technology teacher here at St. Francis. Been teaching since 2001 and taught anywhere from 6th grade all the way up through seniors, all kinds of business topics.
My name is Ryan Feerick. I'm a 1-5 computer technology teacher over in East Bethel, so still in the school district, but at one of our proud elementary schools. I have ranged from 8th through kindergarten as far as just teaching computer technology. I've had the pleasure of teaching that for 8 years. Dabbled and played with just about everything that we're going to cover today just to see what works and messes. And hopefully, at the very least, you'll bring something home, at least one thing that you can pull away from. As I told Tyrone I was going to say, I am the relief pitcher for another teacher who has a lot invested in these web apps that you are going to see, and she is very proud of them, and I get the pleasure to bring them forward. So if you have any questions that we're not able to answer today, or I'm not personally able to answer today, I will make sure we get back to you and get it forward and get you the information you need to be successful in your classroom. So,
the sheet that we handed out, if you take a look at the top, it's just the session. It looks very blah, and that was intentional. I know that people like taking notes in computer style classes, so I wanted to give you a sheet of paper with a lot of blank space for you to do that. However, the notes that are on here already are everything that you really need. Okay, we're going to be working off a thing called Symbaloo, and we'll explain that. You can type that address in, it'll bring you right there. We're also, if you would like to participate in the back channel, we're not going to take you through how to do it. It's pretty self-explanatory. If you want to have a conversation online about what's going on in here, we have a private chat room, basically is what it is. You can type this address in there. Mr. Feerick and myself will both be looking at it, so if you have a question, rather than raising your hand, if you could put it on there, we'll try to get to it when we have a chance, because we have a lot of things that we're going to go through, and that seems to work out pretty well. Can you guys back here hear me? Here, seeing some of this?
Do you have any more paper copies?
What's that?
Any more paper copies?
I do.
Okay.
Absolutely. Very good. And then the Google presentation is we are going to do at the very end. You guys are actually going to create a Google presentation that you'll be able to go back to and access and see what everyone had on there. So we'll save that till the end. Before we jump into, did I miss anything?
nope,
Okay. Anyone get in there?
not yet.
Oh, good.
Guy named Ryan.
Oh, also, if you take a look on your screen, there's that little red bar. You can move. You can do anything you want with that. You can minimize it and just watch up on the screen. You can maximize it and have that be your only screen, or we put it in a window to make it so that you can move it however you would like. So our presentation and what we're going to show is going to be on there, and so it's right there for you. If, like I tell my 6th graders, you know, it doesn't work perfectly all the time. That's going to be this vision thing that we have, possibly some of the technology that we try to bring up. Just kind of go with it. For this one, just look on with your neighbor. Okay? If it's not on your screen and you'd like to look, feel free to look over your neighbor's shoulder or whatever. I think we're all okay with that. Are you first or am I first?
Oh, do you want to say how this is going to go?
Yeah. Okay, so what we're going to do to start off is we're going to present we're going to give you 60 Web 2.0 tools that we feel could be used in the classroom. We have used some of them personally, some that I'm going to show you for sure. I think look really cool, and I haven't had a chance to use myself, but it's designed to be a fast-paced, show you something, and then if you like it, great, or like Mr. Feerick said, hopefully you can find 2 or 3 things that you can explore later. We're not going to give you instruction on how to use them, just show you different tools, and maybe talk a little bit about them, and then move on. We're going to try to get through 60 different Web 2.0 tools in 60 minutes, so that's about 1 minute per. So it's going to be really fast-paced, hopefully.
Starting the timer.
And
I am.
Okay,
another
that's what I
reason
thought.
why you have the blank sheet of paper if you really want to make notes. But again, what you see on your screen right now is the Symbaloo. Okay, that has everything we're going to talk about, And then the back channel we talked about already. Am I done talking? Before we get started, does anyone have any real quick questions they want to ask?
Okay, I know this is probably stupid, but so that later when we're at home, we can type in the symbol and go and see this?
Yep.
Okay, I have a question.
The symbol will be, it's locked, so
Great.
in order for me to even change it, I have to make a copy. So this is a permanent link right now.
And we can go in and create one of these on our own for the kids to go to?
A symbol?
Yeah.
Absolutely. So you can, if you want to, you need to create an account, and then you can start making your own little symbol thing.
I happen to sneak a peek at CNN.com and all over.
All right, Mr. You want to
Okay,
take
so we're
control
going to start out with Class Dojo as the first one in the top corner. I don't know if you've heard about this, but what's phenomenal about this little website is you're able to upload your class roster, or you will type in your class roster, and it's a classroom management tool where you can award points to your students if they do something well, or take them away if they don't. And what's really good is after a certain set period of time, you can print off the progress that they've made maybe over the course of a trimester in a behavior management type system and send it home. Or if you need to track over the course of a large period of time, whatever and however you determine to award points, you are able to track and then print it off and look at a large landscape over a course of time for an administrator, for a parent. Full integration, you know, something we've looked at even at my level as a specialist is being able to do it both in my class and in the regular ed classroom so that they meld together. And it provides that little extended piece that can go past just the regular ed classroom teacher into my computer technology class.
Very good. Nice thing, Class Dojo also, I don't know if you said this directly, but it's accessible by students if you want it. They can see their progress. They can go home and check their progress at home. The parents can do the same thing. It kind of keeps everyone in the loop there. One thing that I really like about it. The next thing is Edmodo. Edmodo is a learning management system. I've used Edmodo pretty extensively. Actually, if you take a look here, I'm logged in. It does some nice things for me. I teach in a computer lab, so I need my students to be able to turn things into me electronically. So if you have them type a paper, you have an Edmodo classroom, they can turn in the papers electronically to you. You don't have to have them print anything out. I put my assignments on here. So anytime a student misses, they can go to Edmodo, look at the day that they missed, and then they can get caught up before they ever even come to school. My students, because they're 6th graders, their email is not turned on. If they have a question about something, they can message me through this. It's kind of our jumping point. Every time they every time they come into class, they go to Edmodo, they see what we're doing that day, and then we go from there. So it really is pretty slick. A nice thing, I think, what I have up here is it also has learning communities. So on Edmodo, I belong to the computer technology learning community, and I'm constantly going through there to find things to add to this presentation. So this is where I get a lot of my ideas.
I found it pretty successful. Even I use it for my upper primary levels in 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade. They all get a login, and it gives them that initial piece, like Tyrone has been saying about when we go to an activity, it gives them the direct link to get there. So there's no mistake, you know, Mr. F, I went to, I don't know, YouTube.com. I don't know how I got there, quotes. I don't know how, no, the link's right there in front of you. You know what you need to do. Click the link kind of piece. So it clears up that gray area and it allows me to track, and I can look back at my entire curriculum then at the end of the year and say, this day we did this, this day we did this, this day we did this. And if I want to edit or change my curriculum, it allows me to look a little further away from the whole thing at the end of the year. Our next piece is EduCreations. I've used this in my classroom to allow students to give different presentations. I've been told it's a better iPad app, but I've never actually used the iPad app. I've only used the website. The kids can record what they're saying and then talk and write and type and insert pictures and do all sorts of fun stuff. And they end up teaching you by recording what's on the screen. It's another little interactive piece. Most of my teachers at the elementary level find it to be really nice on the iPad because it's all self-contained, and they can just talk into the microphone on the iPad and walk through it, and when they want to draw something, they just use their pointer finger and write on it. and then it will draw it on there, and then they record it and they can send it to their teacher, and the teacher can do whatever they want with it, or they can show it to their parents and send it to the parents.
I'm gonna let Blabberize talk. I'm not gonna actually talk on this one. This is one thing that I haven't had an opportunity to use, but someone showed it to me. I thought it looked kind of cool, so I'm gonna show it to you.
Welcome to Blabberize.com, the only internet site that you can upload a picture, select the mouse on that picture, and then record some sound. And this is the one we described. We make that picture talk to the sound. It's talking picture. I am not kidding. This is real. Okay? When we show it to people for the first time, they hear a boom inside their head. They are so amazed. They are like, hey, I just heard a boom inside my head. And I'm like, yeah, that's right, buddy. That's
So that's enough of the llama. But the thing with Blabberize that I think would be cool is you can have students take different perspectives and speak from that person. So if you're reading a book, Romeo and Juliet, have them find a picture of Juliet, and then have them just draw the little mouth, and then they can speak from Juliet's perspective. And I think that students would really eat that up, rather than trying to type a paper of what Juliet's thoughts were in the book, having them go on and blabberize it, so to say.
A big focus that we've tried to maintain with all of these options is that in most cases, they're free. Just recently, like between apparently when we started with this and where we are now, they changed S'more to a non-free service now. But what it is, and still give it a look, is a poster-based website where you can, if you've ever heard of something called Glockster, it's where you can go online and you can create a poster out of a web page that the kids can go to. This is like that. You just put different little assets out there, stick it up like it's a corkboard, and it's good. Disappointing though, it's not free anymore in my understanding, but it still doesn't change that it's a better resource that we found than what Glockster was before. It gives you a little more options and a little more freedom.
It says that it's free, but does that mean like only for a short amount of time?
And when I clicked on it, it said you get 30 days. And so if they switched it, it's just when I checked earlier this week and was teaming with the group, I'm like, you see it's not free anymore. And when you go to the education section, all of a sudden it costs money. So take a look at it. Hopefully it's still free.
The next thing we'll talk about real quick is Common Sense Media. Is anyone familiar with this? Okay.
Use it all the time.
Yeah, it's a fantastic website. I think the origination of it is that it wanted to give parents and teachers a way to take a look at movies in more of an age-appropriate, better than like G, PG, PG-13, but give them more tools. So if Johnny comes home and says, I'm going to go watch this movie, then parents can quickly go on here and see what kind of things are in the movie. They've expanded now to do that for apps. They have a wonderful digital citizenship curriculum. And then I think there's also a spot for talking points for parents. But really, a good tool to, if you're looking at media, any kind of media, a good starting spot at least.
Our next one we're going to take a look at is Animoto. I hope you've heard of this one before. What it does is it takes a large number of pictures, and it now includes videos, and it combines them into a quick movie that you can show folks. 3 years ago when I started using this at first, it was a very crude little service that was tough to use, and it is now really awesome. I used it for, I have like a fireman's banquet, so I took all our fireman photos, jammed them in there. You run it through, add music, and it plays like a movie. And it, pictures fly in and fly out and do all that fun stuff. And then you can now integrate movies into it. There is educator pricing. You get more if you sign up as a teacher. So if you go there, make sure you get there because it gives you more features to use for your students. You can put on however many pictures. The biggest limitation is how long your music is. because it normally only sets it up based on how long you've decided your sound. So that's where you get creative and you pick your Stairway to Heaven, the long one. You get there and you jam that in there, and all of a sudden you can get like 1,000 picks. No, but there's a lot of customizable features in order to keep it going. I highly suggest if you do projects that you take tons of pictures with, or you do an event with your students where you take tons of pictures, it takes under 3 minutes to put them into this. Make a movie, show the kids, and they're like, "Oh, this is the coolest thing ever!" But the program did a lot of the work for you, and it's really nice in that way.
They can't record their own voice though?
I haven't used it in that manner before, no.
Okay.
So I don't know for sure.
Wordle, and you can take a look. Oh, no, you can't take a look. Let's go back there. You kind of see some examples of what a Wordle is here. It's super easy to do. You take, I say copy and paste if you want students to type words in there, and then you click Wordle, and it gives you takes these words and puts them into these little word clouds. What do you call them?
Yep.
The words that appear most often get bigger. So what I've heard a teacher do is took the Gettysburg Address, and they copied the Gettysburg Address, pasted it into here, and then whatever words were the biggest ended up being the theme of what the Gettysburg Address is, and you can probably imagine, some of the things that were in there. So they've also, I've heard of English teachers to having people write papers and then put it in here to see what words, what themes their papers have, or what words come up more often. But it's super easy, and I don't think it requires a login. Go ahead.
Do you know if you're able to print from it?
Yeah.
So
Okay.
once you've created you can print it.
Yep. I haven't had any, and you can change the colors. You can change.
Oh, very good.
You can do all sorts of fun stuff with it. I've had success with Wordle. But my favorite thing to do is I actually use Wordle more professionally than I do with my students, because if we ever do surveys, I love to jam surveys in there and be like, "Hey, everybody's complaining about this," so if you ever give a chance for students to give feedback in anything, Wordle it, and then that first thing will be like, that biggest word is probably the one that everybody's most hung up on. And it's just something a little different to do with the information, a different way to analyze any sort of feedback results. All right, EduClipper is everything you would want in Pinterest for your classroom. So it treats, instead of pinning things in Pinterest, you EduClip them in EduClipper. You can create one for your classroom, and then you clip the little things there, and the students can go see it. I'm not a big Pinterest guy, but I'm guessing a few of us in here are. So if that's the way you like to receive your information, or even give it out to your students, give this one a try. I look at it as a good opportunity, as a place to create something for canceled school days, if you've had a few recently. I know it rarely happens, or the 6 times this year. But maybe you put a couple activities on there in a canceled school day. Here's some EduClipped things you could do during the day to still stay on point with some educational related games or any piece like that.
I don't know, classtools.net. Okay. I kind of try to think of, or try to find ways to meet students and where they live. Okay, the students that we have right now have never seen the rotary phone. Every Facebook is something they've been accustomed to since they can remember going on the internet. So if you take a look here, they have a couple of different things that I think would be interesting for them. Okay, the fake book is creates a fake Facebook posting. So now I don't know if anyone seen the forwards that go around about the Super Bowl quarterbacks. That's the one that pops up in my head, where all the different Super Bowl quarterbacks are on Facebook talking to each other about how great they are and how awful the other ones are. But it allows them to create fake Facebook posts. And again, I'm going to go back to Romeo and Juliet. If you wanted to say, if Romeo and Juliet had Facebook, what would it look like? And then have them kind of put historical things back into their realm, things that they're used to, and have them think about information in a different way. So this one has Facebook, and they're constantly updating. It looks like there's a tweet generator now. So if you wanted to have them tweet about, you know, the Lewis and Clark adventure, whatever. So a neat little, again, simple to use tool.
Quizlet has a large resource of user-created content that can help as far as flashcards, games. What's actually, I think, really interesting is it was created by, I have my little note here, a high school sophomore in 2005. And it's now up to over 30 million study sets. So when you get in here, the big piece is what you would want to do is get in here and pull out some resources for your classroom. It's another place to meet people that are creating maybe that information that you need, so you don't have to necessarily start from scratch.
And again, I'm going to let this one just talk to you. Before I started, has anyone seen Rhyme and Learn before? Okay.
Life ain't as simple as 1 and 1 is 2. Gotta talk about negatives with you. Integers include the entire bunch in that.
So this is what Rhyme and Learn does. They take different, if you look here, the circulatory system, PEMDAS, PIRAP, they take all kinds of different concepts in school and they put it to music like that, and you kind of heard what they do. I think it's brilliant. You know, the amount of time they take to do these, and to get things that students need to remember and put a little beat to it. And if they dive in and that's the way that they can remember it, that's awesome. And it's no work on your part. Just to maybe come here if you have a difficult concept, see if they have a little rhyme about it, show it to the class, and then they can go and explore it more on their own if they like. It really is super easy.
I think the big piece, and it's something that doesn't show up on our list about videos like that, is even just to pull them in quickly. Like YouTube, as an example, is not on our list, but that is a good resource to just, hey, see if it's something you're talking about, show it to the kids, takes up 2 minutes, you're done and over with, now we go to a lesson. So it's another unique way to do something like that. I have trouble saying this word, Tagzeedle, okay, is another word cloud creator that's just like Wordle. If you take a look at doing that, you just want to look at the two different benefits. I'm a big Wordle guy, so when it comes to tag, again, we'll just call it tag. I don't end up here a lot, but we found that it allows you to do a couple different little things that Wordle doesn't necessarily do.
Goo.gl is a URL shortener. If you take a look on that sheet, I use Goo.gl to take these long URLs and put on the sheet so that you can easily type them in. Okay, URL shorteners are wonderful for that if you want your students to walk in, if you have a computer lab or iPads or whatever you're using, and you want them to go to a website easily and quickly, go to the Goo.gl, copy and paste it in here, go to shorten URL. Nice thing about this one in particular, is that you've got some details down. Now I can see that one of our presentations people have clicked on 14 times. And if I was a QR code person, it generates a QR code for you also. So you can just copy and paste that QR code wherever you want to put it, and you've got a QR code that'll bring you to that website. And then again, just information about where people are accessing that particular mode from.
Read, write, think. This is a great resource for you to go into if you need to find some more lesson plans or pieces that you want for your language arts type areas. You can get tools, you can create graphic organizers, you can find previously created graphic organizers. It's another resource in order to pull out some extra information if you need to be inspired on some sort of piece. We, in our school district, started at the primary level, started moving more towards looking at this website. It started out as that little thing that someone sends out that you delete in an email, and now we have teachers who go here constantly to say, what is somebody doing with this topic? And it will have a full lesson plan there in order to help you out.
MindMeister is a free mind mapping tool. If you're a Google school, you don't even need to create accounts. Your students don't need to create accounts. Okay, it connects directly with Google. So all they'll do is click, sign in with Google, and it'll sign them in as long as they're signed in Chrome. Again, another easy tool. If you use mind maps in your classroom, it's a nice, easy Web 2.0 mind mapping tool.
So since we spent some time with language arts, now we come back with some math. GeoGebra has some higher level math games for the primary level if you want to get your students in and work a little bit on some higher level math, graphing, and things like that. The goal, one of the things it touts is that it joins geometry, algebra, tables, graphing, statistics, calculus in one easy to use package, is what they say. So that's all I got on that formula.
Prezi. Prezi has become more and more popular, and I'm just going to show you. I've used Prezi a couple times since it first came out. And what Prezi is it's a different way to create a presentation. They call it the scrolling presentation, I think is what they say on the website. Or the zooming presentation. It allows you to zoom into different pieces. And this is just an example of one that I made for Google Tips. Okay, zoom in, zoom out, and this one's really basic. You can go on the website and see some people have put extensive hours into their presentations where it starts off as just a little pinpoint and then you zoom all the way in to the different pieces. Again, another way to present, and they've made it very user-friendly recently. If you used Prezi before and got frustrated with it, I encourage you to go back and try it now because it's much more PowerPoint-ish if you want it to be.
You can also incorporate, which is nice for the art teachers.
Yep.
is
Photos, and I think you can do video now too.
Okay.
Yep. So, very good. What's that? Sorry.
ePals. I have a teacher in my building that's using this to connect up her third grade class with another third grade class or another, actually college class. You go there and they have different projects that you sign up for, and then they team you up with the two groups who maybe have signed up for those projects. It's a totally wide, what's nice is it gets you with an introductory little project so that the initial feeling of bringing in another classroom could be a big struggle for us to take that first step. But ePals has some initial ones that are supposed to be really easy and don't take up a lot of time that allow you to say, hey, maybe I can do this. And then maybe I can relate and create a learning experience between my classroom and some college kids that signed up for a college course. Or another high school class that signed up and you're both going to talk about whatever topic you signed up for on the website. I can't even give you a good example because it ranges. But it's kind of like Pen Pals, but not because it's got computers. So.
One of the projects that I saw was science classes were getting together to plant seeds in different climates and then compare how the seeds grew in different parts of the United States, and it was actually different parts of the world. They were able to connect with people overseas, and they planted the seed in the soil that they had there and then collaborated with the other groups to see how theirs were going.
Yep.
Are there lists then that you can choose to pick?
Yep. You'll need to create an account, and then I think you have the option of looking, like searching for other people who are looking for ePals or creating an ePal request. Garrison Sites. Does anyone know Mark Garrison by any chance? Okay. He's the one that I first saw a 60 and 60 style presentation from, and he put his website up. This had to have been 5 or 6 years ago now. And I'm constantly finding myself going back to try and find new educational technology type things. And that's really what this is. If you're curious, he does a really nice job of just kind of putting it out there and saying, here are some uses I think could happen. But he has a lot of really good stuff out there. And like I said, it's one of the places that I go pretty frequently just to see what's kind of new and up and coming in educational technology.
I use Starfall, especially with my kindergarten through, we'll say 2nd grade. It doesn't quite go well into 3rd grade, in my opinion. But what it provides you with is a ton of literacy opportunities that make the kids feel like they're doing a game, but ideally they're learning a little bit along the way. It starts out as simple, which is what I use it with my 3-year-old daughter, is with the ABCs. They click it and then they watch a video and it kind of breaks through, and all they got to do is just simply click an arrow. Almost anybody can do it. I've used it with my special education students as an opportunity that they can be involved while everybody else is working on projects as well. And then it goes, level 2 is where we get into more of how the letters work together, fluency pieces. Then we really start to get into at the level 3 with more of the guided activity-based reading, where they're only getting a sentence or 2 at a time that they can read. And if they can't read it, they can push an ear, and it'll read it for them. So even if you have students who aren't capable of reading, but you've moved maybe onto a different part, they can still hear it. And then the I'm reading part is a little more independent. I use it at the end of the year with my 2nd graders. Doesn't have the cool I'm magic stuff, and this is my bedroom and all customizable, but it's a good opportunity to get the kids in there to try to read it. And then again, if they still struggle, they just click on a word and it'll read the individual word to them. And then there's some other highlighted activities on there that are special days for really primary students, 100-day Halloween. They have little specialized activities for the little celebrations that happen during the year.
You don't know of a site or something that's more for adults too. I mean, this is a great idea, like to hear it and see it, and like I would like this if there was something,
I haven't stumbled on it where it's laid out this well
Okay.
yet. My bigger, and even with this website, there's some advanced features you can get to sign up for that maybe it reaches. Some of those activities on the side, even for adults, I could see, the music. They have some interesting little music pieces that are kind of companion with this, that are worth a try to see how you could make it work. But as far as really building that next step, I haven't seen where it's integrated with the website very well.
Okay.
Next is Google Story Builder, and again, I'm gonna let this one play just to kind of show you. Before I start, how many people are familiar with Google Docs and the collaboration features in there? Okay. This is just a way to create a Google Doc with fictional people. So in this case, I'll play this. I'll explain a little bit.
Oh, here she comes. She's a scary lady.
Hauling on the full load.
She's an angry tiger. She's a man gobbler. Eater. She's a man eater.
Okay, so what this Google Story Builder allows you to do is pick different people that are collaborating on a document. Okay, in this case, you saw it was Hall & Oates, and how they came about making their song. They had all these different versions, and it plays it as if it was, when you're done, it plays it as if it was real time. So it does exactly what it said there. You can add music, not quite as well as they did there, but you can add some background music to it too, and then you have a final, what ends up being kind of like a movie. So again, something that I think kind of meeting the students back where they're at. Rather than having them type papers or create PowerPoints, have them tell you something in Google Story form. So.
So they're each on their own computer, and then they all just kind of pops in what everybody's typing?
For
The Story
Google
Builder?
Collaboration,
Yeah.
are you saying? So Google Story Builder, the link there is a separate application from Google Documents. Okay, what Google Documents allows people to do is collaborate on a document. So if I'm in my Google account and I want to work with Mr. Fierk on our presentation today, he can be at home, I can be at my house, and we both go into the same document, and then I can see what he's typing, he can see what I'm typing, and we work on it in real time. And that's kind of separate from the Google Story Builder piece.
Okay.
Yep.
And with the Google Docs collaboration
Yep.
that you just described, that works with their presentations as well, right?
Works with presentations now. It didn't used to. I think they've opened that up.
Yeah, because I've had students who are doing something and they're like, wait, who went in and changed
Yeah.
this?
Well, actually, we're going to be doing it here, so it definitely works. Yeah.
Yeah.
Presentation works with spreadsheets. It works with documents. I know.
Study Ladder, I don't know what, our school district relied heavily on a website called, I believe it's Study Island. You had to pay for Study Island. Study Ladder apparently does a lot of the same things for free. So you can sign up your students, and what it allows you to do is create and build different programs that when they go and they learn and they progress through whatever lessons you've set forth, it also provides an important immediate feedback to them. And you can track them. You can do some different pieces with what results you get from them, where you can kind of re-customize some of the learning. That was the big draw and where it's been. This is probably one of the newer ones that's been added to this presentation that we're still working our way through to make sure it's perfect. But give it a try, take a look. My understanding is this one's still free, but like with most things, if you sign up now and it changes in the future, most of the time they'll still give you a good portion of the services for free because you've been with them for so long.
Then we go to WeVideo. What WeVideo is it's a video editing software, and this, I think, is free to people, to Google schools. Okay, so if your school is a Google school, like St. Francis is, we go in and have the students log into their Google account, and then sign in with Google, and then they can use it. And it's really, to have students make self-created videos and then edit it, it is really pretty slick. With our students' Google accounts, they can take the iPad, sign into Google, and then record video, and it goes right into their Google Drive account that they can then come onto the computer and have the access to that. And they go to WeVideo and they drag the videos in, and they can drag sounds in, and they can edit it just like any other movie editor. And it's really pretty easy and seamless with Google Drive, WeVideo, and the iPads really help out, and then the computer lab. The WeVideo doesn't work all that great on the iPads, but it does work pretty slick on computers. So if you're interested in dabbling in having students create their own videos and edit those, I would highly recommend getting to know WeVideo. It's pretty easy.
All right, our next one is called Useful Charts. It's a big visual learning-based website, and if you prefer, their big drive is if you prefer information visually instead of reading through a paragraph, come here and see what we've got. There is a large range of different things that can really customize it to your classroom. So as you can see up front, if you want science stuff, go to the science charts section. I cannot remember offhand whether or not, I'm confident you can make your own, but I don't want to tell you for sure. But the resources there should be rather, and are rather huge. You just do a search for it and see if you can find it, and you can print it off and move forward with it and do what you need to with whatever it is. I feel like I want to say there's a cost with this one, but I did not have a written down cost. As you can see, I guess if you want really nice posters, there can be a cost for some of it.
Just on a side note, this one's really easy to get lost in because they kind of have some different kind of charts. I think I found one about how everyone in Star Wars is related, like a Simpsons chart. So they have some fun with it too. I was going to try to bring it up, but we're already running behind. Done with that one?
Yep, sounds great.
ThingLink. This is another one where I think I haven't had an opportunity to use it, so I can't speak for how easy it is to implement in the classroom. But it was shown to me, and it looks like it would be something that, again, students would do very well with. what you do is, and you can see right here, you take a picture, and then you can add video to the picture, you can add comments to the picture, you can add really whatever you want. So if you have a picture of something, I feel like I'm just going to repeat myself by saying this, but
Okay.
and you want the students to point out some of the things about the picture that make the picture unique, or, I mean, if you think of just, give me a picture, like the flag raising statue
Yep.
in Washington, D.C., and have them point out maybe who the different people were in there, or what's significant about that on the different, they can do that all inside the picture.
So it's a video, so,
It's a still picture
Yep.
that they're able to add different links to in a way.
oh, add a link.
So
Could be video.
could be video.
If
Yeah.
you put a video on there
Okay,
that they could link to. It looks like you can even tweet about it. You could put a little note in there.
okay.
Our next one is iCivics. If you are a civics teacher or even dabble in it a little bit, this has some great games in there. I took a look at using this in my classroom at one point for my older grades at maybe like how a bill becomes a law kind of stuff. I got into this, and this was a couple years ago, I got into the struggle of how we sign up for accounts and that type of piece, but a lot of that's been solved recently, at least in our school district, as we now have changed some of our rules. There's other resources there, such as curricular material, but at the real heart of it, there is some really good interactive games, and this one's constantly updating. I feel like this one's supported by the right people with the right dollars sitting around, and it's not just going to disappear in a little bit. If you come back probably in September and never stopped again, it will look completely different as they continue to work with it and create a good system for kids to play and learn from.
Next one is Trends Map. I tried to zoom in here. I was hoping maybe that St. Francis boys basketball just made it to the state tournament yesterday. I was hoping I could zoom into St. Francis and see if people were tweeting about that. But what Trends Map is that you can go to any part of the world and see what people are tweeting about, the hashtags, the different things. So right now, if you have a current events class or a class that incorporates current events, you could probably go over to Ukraine and see what people in Ukraine are tweeting about compared to what the people in the United States are tweeting about, and kind of compare the different, what's going on at different parts of the world and what people there find important. So this one, if you want to go into any more detail, this one does cost money though, that's the problem. So if I wanted to go in and, I think this is what it costs. Yeah. So if you wanted to click on the different tweet, then they're going to ask you to give them some money to do that.
Well, there is a Francis one. Did you see it?
Oh,
Francis
It
one?
just says Francis.
you're going to get way too
Oh.
a second. Settle down, Tyler.
I don't know. All right,
He's already searching.
next one.
Okay, next one. Printer friendly and PDF. This is a website that you can put websites into, and it will remove the garbage as far as ads, as far as the other stuff that you don't necessarily want. And what it spits out then when you print is a very clean web page that saves paper and you can save as a PDF. I know it wouldn't seem like it's a big deal, but when you just print a website and you don't look or you don't do the print preview feature, one page can easily accidentally turn into like 4 as you increase the advertisements down the right side and down the left. This one helps clean a lot of that up. So when you print it, you can be a little more confident in exactly what's going to be printed off, which is the material that you want.
Next we have Screencast-O-Matic. I've tried some different screencasting software. When I say screencasting, who's familiar with screencasting or what screencasting is? Okay, just really quickly, what screencasting is you record whatever's on your computer screen, and then in Screencast-O-Matic you can add your voice, and you can add a video if you would like. So what I've been trying to do is, anytime I have instructions that I want students to complete, okay, like step 1, step 2, step 3, on the computer I try to screencast it. So I can tell them, or I'll screencast my voice and say, click here. You know, push pause, and then they go and do it themselves. And then they'll go on to the next thing, the next thing, the next thing. And that's really helped me to keep all the students kind of in the same place, because you know, one student has a problem, you have to stop everything and go help that student. Here, it allows me the freedom to kind of walk around, and that's the way that I use screencasting. But this is super, super easy. Click start recording, click record, and then you're off and running. Okay, whatever's on your screen is recorded, whatever you say is recorded at the same time. Click your mouse, shows a little like, I don't know, blip. So. Oh, sorry. No, go ahead.
I used Screencast-O-Matic when I did Minnesota or United States landmarks with my 4th grade, and then I'd have them find it in Google Earth, and then we'd screencast as they click through and talk, and you can hook up a microphone so that they can talk into it. This one's about it. That's where like Starfall worked great for my 4th graders because most of them can read, so they focused on just having to read the pages that were right in front of them. But then when we came back later with our Google Earth tour, the screencast wasn't the focus really anymore because they knew how to do that. And the Google Earth tour was as they read through their script that was in front of them instead. I hope you understand what I'm trying to say with that. I love this website because it's free still. It's 2 button clicks and they're done. It brings up a lot of those old symbols that don't show up anymore that used to be on a VCR. So.
And would this work really well if you were trying to do a flipped classroom?
Perfect. Yeah, I would say you probably would want to put this in your repertoire for both you and your kids.
So you'd have to have headphones though. If I'm teaching a Photoshop, they each have it on there, talking in it. Like
headphones would be useful. We just got headphones in the lab that I teach in this year. I've done it before where they just turn the volume down, you know, and kind of just tell them, you know, talk to your neighbor if it's too loud. Turn it down if you need to get right up to your computer. It works, but it's not ideal.
All I've ever used it with is headphones, and the way I kind of visualize it when it comes to headphones is it takes, for the kids especially, it takes the classroom from everybody together in the whole walls to putting a 2 foot by 2 foot square around them, and all of a sudden they're just focused on what they're doing. And it really helps kind of laser up that piece of the interactions with their neighbors, distractions, that's the word I'm looking for. So. VoiceThread is apparently unreachable. The big piece I want you to pull away from this, and hopefully VoiceThread allows you to upload a picture and leave comments is the big pull away that I have for notes on this one. I can't remember, is that one that allows you to call in with your cell phone?
I think so.
You could call in with the phone and leave a comment that way as well. You blast it right there in the front of the page. But so if you actually had your students who may have a cell phone of some sort they could access, and you put a picture of Beethoven up front, and they researched a fact that they want to call in, they could VoiceThread a comment onto Beethoven that goes right there, and when you go to watch it, it will play it as it goes through, and it'll throw all the extra comments on there. It's nice because it allows you to do it by microphone plugged into the computer. I swear you can do typing, and then you also can do the phone, which you really don't think would be a big deal, but that actually makes it a lot more usable. Even if you said, okay, 5 minutes, if you get time, go punch this on my phone in my classroom. It does have a limited length of time that you can use for that voice comment when you call in, but it's normally something that if you pre-plan for is pretty manageable.
And we're just going to change directions just a little bit. We're drastically behind where we were trying to be.
Perfect.
So we're going to try to switch it from 60 and 60 to the next 25 and
10.
Okay. So we're going to buzz through some of these things. The next one is TweetDeck. What TweetDeck allows you to do, if you're a Twitter person, kind of separate the things that you're watching on Twitter. Take a look here. I have the Minnesota State High School League, Google Apps for Education, and Ed Tech. And then as people add things with those hashtags, they'll populate at the top. Great thing to use at the beginning of the class if you're going to be talking about something that may be current. Have that little Twitter feed running as students come in to kind of get them focused on what you're going to be doing that day.
you're not doing a good job right now.
Was that awful?
Okay, Scholastic. Obviously, we've heard of them before. A lot of book and language resources, as well as some sort of classroom curriculum resources for you also.
Well done. Khan Academy, another great resource. People that are thinking about flipping, they have videos on how to do almost everything. And they are constantly updating. If you are intrigued by Khan Academy, if you go out to YouTube and search for Sal Khan, he's a very, very interesting person to listen to, and he'll give you it gives you the philosophy behind the website and why he's done it. And I'm going to stop right here.
What is my next one? Oh, QR codes. If you get interested in QR codes and making them, a QR code is something a little more specific, and you're able to put more information than a UPC code on the back of any sort of piece. You can print it off, post it on your wall. I actually set up a building-wide tour based on QR codes for parent-teacher conferences that would allow the parent to come in and scan it. You told them about the QR code. The app, which you can get on not only website but on your cell phone, they'd scan it, and then it would play my voice talking about what we use this space for. And they just were posted all over the place. Here's the library. At the library, here's who's working there, and the explanation. And it can be a great way to link up. I also use a QR code as a business card, because you can put the info on there, they can scan it, they can push one button in most cases on their cell phone, and then it's uploaded as a contact in your cell phone.
Any residents of Anoka County Library, this is something that I discovered this past summer, but you can check out magazines online. I like Consumer Reports, so anytime a new Consumer Report comes out, I just tap it on my iPad and I have the full version. I don't have to pay anything for it. Same thing for audiobooks. If you have a long commute to work and you like to listen to audiobooks, when they become available, they send you a little email that says your audiobook's available, just like checking anything out of the library. So I found it to be a great resource for myself, for the magazines that I used to pay for and books that I used to purchase.
Now I got something to do tomorrow. Okay. The next one is Time Toast. That is just to help you create timelines. Pretty simple, pretty straightforward. Want to do a timeline, go to Time Toast.
Oh, well done. All right. I'm a big baseball fan. I wish that this website would have been around when I was in school, because the Baseball Hall of Fame, what they do is they've created lessons based around baseball. And if you take a look here, here are the ones that they have. It's not extensive, but it's something that would have made me more interested in maybe some of the subjects that I didn't like quite as much, had they put it around baseball for me. So looking at these lessons, I thought they looked awesome. And if you do too, go ahead and use them.
Next is, it's labeled in our presentation as Create a Graph. As you can see, it's a little, you'll want to link to it by going probably to our whatever your Symbaloo thing, because it's a little longer web address. It's a little tougher to remember. You can create graphs for free. They're pretty simple and straightforward. It, as you can see, offers a wider range. Yeah, we're going to leave it at that this time.
Then we go to iPad ads. This one is very self-explanatory. A lot of times people are wondering, well, I have an iPad. What can I do with it? Okay, right here. iPad ads, record and edit video. Click on that. Gives you a way to record and edit video, blog, create written content. Really a pretty slick site if you're wondering how to use your iPad.
FlipSnack is the next one. What that allows you to do is take your PDF files and turn them into like a digital magazine. So it looks a little bit more spiffy. It's still at its base a PDF file, but when you flick your finger to the right, it looks like a book now, without a ton of extra work. So,
PDF Escape. Many times if someone sends you a PDF and you want to fill it out, you don't really have that option. You got to go through all kinds of different steps. This allows you, it will take the URL from the PDF and allow it to be editable. So I have people send me large PDFs and I just want one page of it to give to students. You know, I don't want them to have all the other stuff. I just take and I delete the other pages, resave it, and I'm good to go. So a way to better interact with PDF documents. PDF escape.
Tyrone earlier talked about the Common Sense Media Group. This is kind of an offshoot that is brought forward by them. This rates apps, websites, games, and digital curricula. So it's a good place if you're wondering if this app is really good. Check this website out. Go there, type it in, see where it's at. Or if you need a science-related app, you can go here, click Science, see what it's all about, and maybe it lists the top ones, so you can maybe look through the top 5 that are listed there to see if it reaches what you need it to do.
Reminder 101. The way that people have used this in our district is for what Reminder 101 does. I'm going to back up a step here. Okay, is it allows you to send text messages without using your own personal phone number or own personal device. You can create a Remind 101 room, give people ways to access it, and then you can go into Remind 101, type a message, hit send, and it will send to everyone else at send them a text message. Okay, so the way that people in our district have used it, coaches use it quite a bit. You know, no practice today, make sure you shoot 50 layups. People in class or in classrooms will say, reminder, we have tests tomorrow, make sure to study tonight. And then it sends it to everyone that elected to sign up to get that. It doesn't have any, they can't respond to you, but it's just a way to remind them about different things.
Discovery Education has videos, curriculum. They tie into a lot of their licenses that they have with their own TV network. So after you get an account and our district has one, you can get in there, piece it apart, pull out the educational material you want, show the video in class.
Question relating to that. If our district has an account, can we access that as a parent? Or that, a teacher too? So
I would say I've never been asked that question before, and I don't think there'd be any harm in asking. Because I feel like there was also a time period we were talking about students having some sort of extra access to it.
Sure.
Earlier on, when there was a time period where we just dove into Discovery Education full board, paid whatever the cost was, and then that cost slowly started inching up, and now we still use it, but we've pulled away from those premium services.
EasyBib is a bibliography maker. So if you're having students research, create things, and worried about fair use, all they have to do, super easy, grab the URL of the website that they're reading, copy and paste it in here, and it'll cite it for them. Okay, it takes them through a couple different steps where it says, really it's 2 steps. You copy and paste the URL. It says, here's where we're going to put the things. Does this make sense? And you click yes, and then it makes a bibliography that you can, or a reference that you can copy and paste. Ridiculously easy. The amount of hours that I spent doing that stuff.
The next one we got is Volky. This is a character-based activity where you can create a character. You can use famous people right now that they have preloaded into the system, and you add a voice to them. You either add a voice by typing into a text box, and then it does like your GPS voice. I'm not gonna, when it says turn right, you can it's got some of those preloaded voices that come from your GPS, as well as you can make a phone call again, record on there. I believe you can still do that, and you can use your microphone to record your own voice. So again, kind of that Benjamin Franklin piece where you get a picture of Benjamin Franklin or create one that looks like him, and then I was born on this date, and you kind of add your voice or do those whatever you want to do with them. There is a limited time period on some of those activities, but it's a nice little cutesy thing to do. I've used it for students and teachers, presentations like this one.
SafeShare.tv. If you use YouTube in your classroom, take anything from YouTube, either if you're flipping and creating instructions yourself, or you're just finding content on YouTube, you'll notice that when you're done playing it, all these ads come up, right? Or all suggested videos. They're not always good. What SafeShare TV does is you take that YouTube URL, copy and paste it into SafeShare TV, and it takes everything except your video and plays it. So when I put stuff on my website, I don't worry about what's going to come up when they're working at home, you know. So they just click this, plays the video, when it's done, video's done. So it's, again, another really, really easy tool that does something that a lot of people, I think, want to be able to do.
Royalty-free music. This is a nice spot to get music for, as an example, Animoto that you want to use if you don't want to use it illegally, or any sort of project that you're going to do that you don't want to use the music illegally. This has a good resource on where to get that type of music. You can pay $1.99 per licensed track to help this gentleman keep the website up, and you get a different set of rights where you can do a little bit more with it. But it's a good jumping off point if you need background music for any sort of project or anything that may go public, even professionally or with your students.
CyberWise, great site for parents. And if you look at the thing right at the top, it says "No Grown-Up Left Behind." This is a website that's geared toward teaching parents what their children are doing with either online or with mobile devices. And I get a lot of that during conferences where parents are, they either just saying, oh, I don't know how to do that, or they're really like asking for information on how do I know what these kids are doing nowadays. And this is a great site geared towards parents and adults. So I tell them to go visit this, you know, and then that's kind of where you can start a conversation.
IXL is a website that uses math, language, arts, is what it's expanded to now, to create learning opportunities for students that, again, you can track, get feedback. It does it in a manner where the kids, again, at times feel like they're playing games, earning points, earning rewards. This one is paid, but you do get a free month to kind of try it out. So, you know, if you want to really hit testing right about this time a little hard, maybe you time it correctly so you can use some of these resources that month before testing starts. And the kids feel like they're getting a little bit of free time when they're not.
Tag is a very easy poster board. It's a linear poster board creation tool. Okay, if you want, if you have your students create posters for anything and you want to try to get them to do that online, this is a great place to get started. It's just a matter of clicking a couple things, it asks you questions, and then it starts creating a poster board. I was hoping, right here's an example of one that someone created, if anyone likes zombies. And you can go, it's easy to bring pictures in, you can type, you can add videos, different things like that.
Ruby Star is our next one. It helps you, if you haven't been here before, create a click in specific enough. You can get rubrics that are pre-made or with pre-made prompts that can help you kind of at least have a starting off point for how you might want a rubric for a project. As an example, I've used one before where I go to video presentation is one of the options, and then it gives me the 8 things that the previously made people may have used, and then I can be like, well, do I really want to do that one, and would I word it this way? So it at least provides you a little framework for maybe a project that you might be doing.
Powtoon, they have a little video that I was going to show, but in the sense of time, you can go and watch the video later. What it is it's a cartoon creation website. Very simple. Again, if you have anything where you would like your students to create cartoons, you can send them to Powtoon. Add the word bubbles, add the pictures, and they can pretty easily create cartoons.
Our next one was one of the most interesting ones I found when I stepped into this role to help out today. Adventure to Fitness. I don't know, I made a joke earlier about a lot of canceled school days, but at the same time, if you're an elementary school teacher or primary, we've had a lot of indoor noons. Okay? So there's a joke in there that I won't get to. But this is a good website to go to, and it like makes it puts a video up in front of the room, and then it says like, we're gonna run to the top of the mountain, and the kids like run in place, and it's a motivational piece, it's pretty linear. We started out with one teacher in the building using it on Indoor Noon, and now we're up to almost everybody. It just gives them something to do, to move around and do something different in the classroom, especially during that time when they need to be out there.
trip line, and I'll just play, they don't really say anything in this one. What it allows you to do, like, to me immediately, the Lewis and Clark adventure came to mind. So if you want your students to draw the path of Lewis and Clark that they took, and then have different points on the their adventure, and add information, things that happened, if they could pull pictures up, different things like that, this allows them to do that. So kind of a road trip type tool.
Bubble Brain has a large portion of games to play that can supplement your material. It connects it up through not just this website, but other websites to pull in the educational opportunities. That's it.
All different curriculum?
Yes. And I have all the way from elementary to high school even on that one.
Here's another good current event website. So let's say if you take a look across the top, these are the different countries that you can pull up and the different types of news on the bottom. Right now, the U.S., everything. You can see the different headlines. If I see one that's interesting, I can click on it and it'll bring me right to the website where the article is taken from. Okay, so again, another way to see current events, maybe from different perspectives. You want your students to go and see what they're talking about in Mexico, or what's in the news in Mexico. Click on there. They might need to know a little bit of Spanish, but they can see it.
All right, last one is another game connecting website that you can get in here and look around and poke around and see for supplementing your educational opportunities in your classroom.
The last one's a good time waster. There's a couple people that have found uses for this in the classroom, so I'm not going to say time waster. I say that kind of tongue in cheek, but it's a beatboxing website. You can put these guys together, start making some music, and I don't know why I feel like I have to do this every time I see it. But
Oh.
so you can kind of create music just by dragging and dropping. Like I said, it's a great time waster.
It's a free time activity.
But yeah, that's exactly what. Aside from the music teachers that I've talked to, they use it as a way for, when you're done, if you want to go on Incredibox, kind of a free time thing. So that is 60 websites in about 67 minutes.
Awesome.
60 web points on search. If you want to send out that link, I'll bring that up.
Yeah.
And I'll explain. So I think what we're going to do is we were hoping to give you about half an hour to kind of start filling out this Google presentation. So Mr. Fierk, stop me at any point if you think that what I'm changing is not going to work, because it may not. We haven't had the numbers out, right? Or did we?
No, we do not.
Okay. So if you, as you were going through these 60 different things, if there was something that really popped for you, something that you thought, you know what, I can really use that, we'd like you to share that with the class, and the way that we'd like you to share that is through this Google presentation. So he's going to send a presentation to you that you'll be able to edit. I'm seeing it on some people's already. If you're in there, then great. But we have, at one point, there were 58 people that were going to be in here. I'm not sure if that stayed. There's going to be 58 people working on this presentation at one time. So be cognizant of, if you go to a slide and you see that other people are typing on it already, maybe go do something else, go to a different one, and come back to it. Try to not delete things that other people are doing. But that's what we'd like you to do right now. If there was one site that you thought was interesting, you can go take a look at it and start putting things in there of how you might use it in class. Mr. Fear.
I think it worked. Cross
Okay.
our fingers, besides maybe a few.
I'm seeing it come. Are there any questions right now? Questions about what to do for the next 15 minutes?
Yeah,
Questions about the website?
Yeah, where do we go? I don't get it. Where do we go?
Okay.
You're already, yeah. I can,
Right where you're at there.
Oh, okay.
So as you go, go ahead.
I was just gonna, we should probably get the lunch part out of the way, that way we can, when it's time to dismiss, we're not like, here, let's talk about this for 5 minutes before you get to go eat. There is some marked classrooms that eat lunch in when lunch comes in, count at 14 minutes. You are welcome to eat there, but do not drop your food in the trash can there. The boxes are tiny. Come out 2 big giant cans, put in trash, okay? I think that was the major pull out of our...
Perfect.
Make sure you tell them so. I don't think they'll frown on you eating in the hall if you want to sit on the floor. Just know we have some rooms, and then don't fill up the little trash cans. And then we're going to try to come around and hand out these. We'll do our best.
I think we'll just say a name. When you hear your name, if you raise your hand, we'll come hand you the certificate and you get credit for being in the class.
Could you repeat one more time where to go? I don't know where to go.
It is the Google presentation link on the sheet that we handed out. Just go there and then you can just add stuff. And this will be open to you after class is done forever. I don't see it going anywhere. So
Do we have to do that? Is it required?
we would like you to provide your feedback, yes. Because your voice is important.
Laura B.
I guess I'm not understanding.
Okay, so what you do here is like, let's say,
Laura?
Oh, so it's already
Laura in here?
you'd say, I could do
And then you
this
go on
one.
the slide to edit.
This way. type
Sarah
that,
Meyer?
This is the presentation. You're adding your dots. You're not having to do a presentation.
Okay, so like if I find the one, this one.
That's the link
Like if
to
I
it.
find the one that I thought
So you
was
find like,
Yep.
then I just click on
Trevor.
the link, or where do I click?
No,
to add
it should be
my
right
card?
here. You're in presentation.
Ann.
There. Yeah, are we may have reached
Brian.
the max, Tyrone, you can log in on it. Which I've never done before.
Am I in the editor?
I would
now?
team up as a pair and come
Okay.
together.
Okay, I'll tell you what I read.
Okay.
Okay.
Sorry.
So there's
Ryan
this
B.
one that
Christine
says,
he's like,
Megan. Cash.
he's clicking and it's not letting.
Art I.
Perfect.
There you go.
so the one that's called
Heidi J. and
John C.
choose called Real
Kara Dahl.
Kim Jones. There he is.
Okay, how about
Jill.
Matthew Dean. Yeah.
It was a little old.
Donna Kelly.
Tim D.
There we go. That's right.
So what you'll do is
Megan.
you actually, I think, Kim. Right here,
E.
and then click one more.
Teresa.
Yeah.
E.
It's telling me I can't do it.
I know what you did. You said it so they can only do it.
Maybe.
It says, wow, this is popular.
Yeah, well, it is telling us it's popular.
Nicole E.
This could be our end problem.
Oh, it's not working.
Sorry. Oh.
Oh, there you go. Now
So that's a PEBCAC error, right?
Now you can.
That's what?
PEBCAC
Elizabeth
error?
F.
What is that?
Problem exists between the chair and the keyboard.
Yeah. Press F5 and hopefully it'll change. F5 on your keyboard.
Cindy F.
Tara K.
Nope.
Eric K.
Serafina.
I do. Mr. L. That's kind of awesome. You got Mr. L. Mr. Laldo.
Julie
Say
H.
Mr. L in a room full of teachers.
Yeah, I'm not.
Defeats the purpose.
Not letting me
Christine.
edit. I don't think anybody's
L.
being
Sharon
able to
H.
edit.
Over here.
I feel like I'm losing. You're getting off.
Caroline H.
It's not letting me.
Mary H.
As soon as I get to it, I promise.
Mary.
Julie Maurer. Up here. Thank you, ma'am.
Adam H.
Shaw-
do.
Shannon? Sam?
We've overwhelmed the system.
Yep, we've completely blew up the system.
Christine.
What up?
Kristen M.
Right here.
Melendez.
Here.
Amy O. Right behind me. Kaylin Olsen.
While this file is really popular, some tools might not be revealed until the tough crouch.
Charles P.
It's not really editing.
James Peterson.
Yeah, it would probably be
Susan Peterson.
further
I bet I have them in alphabetical order.
trends.
Angela P.
Oh, so it doesn't break.
Carrie R.
We've got
Nathan R. Rocco. Lori R.
Mental comments? So the next 10
Lori R.
minutes is
Rod.
playtime?
Yeah, if you want to go. Actually, you probably, right now you'd be better off just going in and exploring.
Joanne Rusnak. Ashley S.
Talk about killing people.
Carol S. Heidi S. Jessica Smith. Win. Sarah S.
Yeah, right here.
Michelle S. Start walking away.
Sarah.
I like that.
Just
Linda T.
today, but it was like their time, so
Especially
now it's
Heather
probably
V.
the ninth there, but it like happened.
Susan Warwick. IEW.
creating a community.
Right here.
That's awesome. It's basically a Sims. but for
Maybe it was
Anybody knocking a sheet?
Go to that website, I'll bring you right to that.
Last name.
But anyway, I just thought it was
This,
How do I?
this one is missing the bottom line. I'm starting to use this web mix, I think that
So what else do we just do, or is that all?
Everybody else got one? Okay.
I just thought this was so interesting because I was like,
Yeah, it's
so all
not
these people
real
were like, things
intuitive
were
for
MH370,
that.
and I was like, yeah. And then I Googled it and found out that
all
it's
three of those
airplane
links.
with so
Well,
many
this
people.
one, the back channel will go away probably in about a month. But that,
I think that's the flight number.
this is the big one.
But I think there's this article that I now reading said that there was 227,000.
So,
But now it's
So right now. Yeah.
yes, just go back to that symbol, all those links will be there. Oh, they're all just like, well, it looks just like it today. So.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, kind of like separated out by different categories that way. I don't have that yet. Something definitely detox. I love it.
Oh, sure. So I think people around the lives, like we talked about earlier, that what I have most success with
Yep, thank you. You don't get one?
That's a good place.
Okay, I think you'll need to talk to Joe. So did you register? Did you register?
following we used that with the kids that could we would have the classroom, it would be a center at the end of the day. I did. Yes, you said that you were teaching English, so it might have said what she's
I think